Now, you mentioned our 10% tariff. That's actually our GST, our consumption tax, our VAT. That applies to everything across the board, so we can't withdraw it from American goods. So what can we trade with America to get rid of those 10% tariffs? Should we be looking at restoring free speech, for example?
Well, I think certainly that would be helpful. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see if Trump. He said that Vietnam had offered something and it was going to be a big deal. They face very high tariffs as of April 2nd, and so do those come down? Does any country get out of the 10% tariff, or is that just something that everyone faces? We don't know. I think it's important to differentiate Australia. During COVID, I think a lot of Americans noticed that lockdowns, varied across the United States from severe to less severe, and we're a little surprised that Australia seemed pretty severe under what was nominally a liberal government. But, contrast that to Western Europe. I think people would see that the United States has a lot more in common values-wise with Australia. I know you have an election coming up, so it'll be interesting to see how that happens. But when you look at the terminal decay of Western Europe and in NATO and things like that, I think the Pacific is a different story. And people think of it economically as the future. It's where the biggest threats come from, China, but also the biggest economic opportunities for growth. And also, you were talking earlier on the program about net zero, just being a great producer of coal and iron ore and other minerals. The fact that I think Australia, probably easier than Germany, Britain, France, can dispense with that sort of nonsense, that sort of civic religion of climate change alarmism, could endear the country to a lot of people.
Oh, well, absolutely. It could endear it, but we would actually
endear
have
it to the people of Australia for a start.
Well, if only we had politicians who are actually advocating for that position. But one of the key issues for the election, and something that seems to no longer be an issue at all, Christian, is illegal immigration in America. I saw some figures for March, just record lows. How did the illegal immigration crisis, this thing that we were told was almost unsolvable, get solved in a matter of weeks?
Yeah, it's amazing just what intent will do and how quickly words spread. When people hear by word of mouth, all you have to do is show up, go cross through Mexico, they'll let you right through, and just show up and say you're a refugee. You have a well-founded fear of persecution. Now, if you're the head of the Venezuelan opposition, then yeah, you qualify for that. But if you're just someone who wants a better life, and I understand that, I'd probably try and be sneaking somewhere else if I were them too. But anyway, just the fact that they can be turned away, that they may be forced to remain in Mexico, and that the apex criminals among them are going to be sent to some very unpleasant prisons in Central America. We won't even just bother with putting them on trial here, just deport them. Word gets around pretty quickly. So even without building a wall, just the idea that you're going to enforce some of the laws on the books, and it just shows that Biden could have done this if he wanted to. He said he needed more money and more laws, but he didn't.